but I assume that a substantial major portion of it will be in the competitive grant category. Cindy, anything you can add, or anyone else?
I think you got the schedule. Oh, Steve will ask me to introduce myself. I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm the Digital Equity Program Manager in the ACA broadband office for Arizona. And I think you got the schedule fairly close, Mark. That's how I understand it as well. Nicole is out of town today, but I think she would agree with that. Karen, do you?
Yeah, I was going to say I can add a little bit to that. As most of you know, I've signed a contract with ACA to help them with their broadband projects, mostly in the grants administration of all of these, just a huge amount of money that's going to come down the pike to Arizona, from CPF to digital equity to this BEAD funding. And so I just wanted to, say that, Mark, you're right. It's that extra money was a result of the work that ACA did in that challenge process. They actually came up with 60,000 additional addresses that were unserved or underserved. And I don't know the percentage, but a large portion of those addresses were high cost areas, which caused the allocation to be, much higher than we originally anticipated. So yes, absolutely great work from ACA. You have the timeline, as well as we know it today. There is a contractor working with ACA on putting the BEAD plan together, and there's a challenge process. And then, the ACA will look at distributing, those monies through a competitive process. So more to come.
Great. How exciting, huh?
Very exciting. This is something we've all been looking at, Steve. I remember many years ago when we were starting to talk about this, we never would have expected $1 billion, to Arizona. So it's
Sandeep.
That was long before the task force when we started talking about this stuff.
right.
And Sandeep was in the room.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandeep was invited, one of, I think, 10 or 13 state broadband directors that was actually invited to DC. So I saw the back of his head.
You did? I
did.
couldn't tell who it was.
So I watched it and I'm like, were you sitting off to the left? And he's like, yeah. So so very exciting, for Arizona that not only we got the money, but then they recognized Arizona to participate in that that whole press conference today.
That's awesome. Okay, so before we move on, actually looks like I have control of my computer again. I still don't have my camera, but anyway, aren't you all lucky?
You have a nice voice for radio.
Looking to see, do we have anybody new who's joining us today? Doesn't look like it.
I think Penny Pessel. Have you been here before, Penny?
Not. I'm Penny Pessel. I'm the board president for the Sahuarita Food Bank and Community Resource Center in Sahuarita, and we serve many, many folks in Southern Arizona.
Actually, Penny, I guess you have not been here before, so
I
welcome.
have not.
Glad you could join us.
Thank you.
And Mark Burrows, welcome. Are you there? Mark, hello. Where'd you go? Well, maybe he'll be back. Looks like he may have dropped off. Oh, there he is. Mark, are you there? Okay. Well, Mark owns a company down here in Tucson, and among other things, he is looking for the best E-rate consultants to help him with the project. So if any of you are interested or know who would be good, please let me know, or you can put that in the chat, and we'll proceed ahead. Okay, and maybe Mark will be back. All righty. So coming up, several things. That's after that good news, couple of things. Should we meet next week, July the 3rd? Are people going to be off because of the July 4th, which is Tuesday? What do you think? Comments one way or another?
I'm never off.
Okay.
I was gonna say the same thing, Mark, but is there anything that is pressing that you would want to present on
Well,
that couldn't wait till the following week?
yeah, well, nothing that can't wait, I don't think, unless something else comes up. So I don't know. What do you folks think? You want to take a week off?
Yeah, many people take that as a long 4-day weekend. That's
Yes.
fine, Steve.
Okay, so we won't meet next week. We will meet the following week. However, I will be on vacation July 5 through the 22nd, going to see my son in Portland. So it will be a working holiday, working vacation, and I will be doing our meeting the following week. By the way, it looks like we're probably going to do a program on healthcare. I was going to do it next week, but we'll do it the following week. And so I have several people who are potentially lined up to participate. So look for that notification. So the next thing we've discussed before is changing the day and time for the task force. And the last time we discussed it, there seemed to be some consensus of keeping it. But Elena, as you well pointed out, that the people who aren't here were not letting us know. And so since that time, I have actually had conversations with a number of people that we would like to see here who now have conflicting meetings and so forth. So it looks like we're going to probably change the day and our time of the meeting. And I was just working on a survey that will go out hopefully this afternoon to get your input. So I'm going to be looking at, looks like early morning, at least 7:30 in the morning doesn't work, and 7:30 on Monday doesn't work, and 3 o'clock on Monday doesn't work. So those times are definitely out. I'm going to be looking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, at least initially, and I'll be putting into the survey 8 o'clock, noon, and 3 o'clock, unless people have other things that they're aware of that we should not conflict with.
ATIC board meetings are always on a Wednesday at noon.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I knew that and was not going to include Wednesday, so I should not have said that. But thank you for reminding me. Any other thoughts that anybody has? Okay, well, I'm going to get that survey out, and just for my gratification, is there a better time? I know it depends on the day and the week and all that sort of stuff, but generally, is there a better time? How do people feel about noon? About 8 o'clock instead of 7:30, 3 in the afternoon? Generally, people have any thoughts one way or another? Okay. Not hearing any. So I'll try and get that survey out ASAP. So moving on, of course, I'm sorry. Somebody gonna say something? So moving on, Sandeep, of course, is not here. Nicole, as Cindy pointed out, is out of town. Cindy, you have some things you want to tell us about?
Yes, now let me see if I can find my screen. Yeah, yes, we hired a tribal, oh, no, I just closed it. A tribal liaison. Her name is Candace Hamana. She's starting here at the ACA today. That'll be really helpful for us to get tribal engagement rolling. And I think that's a really good direction for us. Let's see.
How do you spell her last name, Cindy?
HAM as in Mary, ANA. She's originally, I just closed the email, I spelled everything out. She's originally from Tuba City, but I think she's been with the Salt River tribe, and I'll get more details over to Steve and he can send that out. We're also continuing our listening tours across the state. And I'm going to put the website, I think, is probably the best place to see where the events are and what the schedule is, and you can register. You can find out the information about the venues and the times from that. And I'm sending the flyers as we get them made, sending those to Steve so that you can spread them out to your networks.
Cindy, let me check with you about, so I saw your note. Is it still okay for me to send that email that I sent to you? No attachment, just the listing of the different events?
I don't think I reviewed the whole email, Steve. I thought you were just asking about the flyer. So let me do that again.
Yeah, I just wanted
and
to
I'll
make
let you
sure.
know. Yeah.
It should be,
Yeah.
if I took it from the right flyer.
Yeah, no, I know it's been a little confusing to write. Have two events on the same day is a little difficult, but anyway, yeah, let me catch up with
Yeah,
you.
check that out.
offline,
I'd like
we'll
to
figure
get it
that
out today, later today, if possible.
Okay. Yeah, not sure I'll get to it today, but I will try.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure what your note said something about, it wasn't ACA approved, but I think that was the flyer you were talking about, not my.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
just check it and make sure all the
I
dates
will.
are now, dates and times
will.
are correct, please.
Yep, I will.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep,
And then Cindy, I posted in the chat, there was a lengthy post on Benton Institute today about boosting digital equity in Phoenix. And so it mentions
Yes.
many of our friends and associates, quotes a number of them. I don't know if that had tickled up yet for you.
Oh, it's wonderful. Actually, Elena sent it to me first thing this morning. Common Sense, it talks about their ACP collaboration with DEI and CPLC. So I'm looking forward to reading it. Yeah. And I'm putting, like I said, I'm putting the website, the webpage for all these listening events in the chat for everyone right now. There you go.
okay. Anything
Thank
else,
you.
Cindy?
No, I think that covers it.
So Elena, is that what you sent me today? Was that link, or was that something else you wanted to talk about with what regard to the ACP project you're working on?
No, that was it. The
Okay,
Benton article is what I sent you.
okay. I didn't get a chance to look at it, so I will share it. Excuse me. I'll share it when I send out my follow-up to the meeting.
Thanks.
Okay. Cindy, anything else?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So Aaron, do you have anything that you want to talk about, and what's happening with the libraries and the ACP and Medicaid signups?
No, not really related to that. I can speak momentarily. I'm the only one of the Aaron, Mala, Janet contingent here right now, I believe. So
Okay.
I'll let you all know that Janet and I had a third meeting today with NACOG regarding the telehealth initiatives in the rural areas of the state. And so, planning is continuing as far as that's concerned, and coming together with a plan to leverage the libraries and others, of course, but from the library perspective, to continue leveraging library locations as telehealth access points following the pilot that was down in Pima County, of course. Our next location will be Tuba City, and that is kicking off very soon. And then from my perspective, since I'll be kind of, I don't want to say taking it over, but it'll be on my plate going forward, I am hoping to expand that to at least 3 more locations in this next LSTA budget year. I don't have confirmation of that yet, so I can't share that officially, but that's the plan. And then let's see what else with state library stuff, we are doing our best to support sharing out the information around the listening sessions to our libraries, and making sure that folks are aware of all of that important work that's going on. So we've been very excited to be able to share out those flyers and everything that Cindy's been sending along. So thank you for that. And I think that might be about it for me right now, unless there are questions.
Well, Erin, it's pretty exciting that there's a lot of other sites now who are very interested in a telehealth program.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely a huge boon right now.
Cool. Okay, so moving on, just a couple of quick things. The National Tribal Telecommunications Association is having their broadband summit again this year, again at Wild Horse Resort on August 28th through the 30th. And I will be sending the information with the links on how to be able to participate. But that's actually a national summit. We had a number of our folks from Arizona participated in that, excuse me, last year. And you're welcome, I believe, to participate this year.
Steve, they generally consider attendance limited to tribal and tribal company related attendees, in my understanding.
Yes, actually, Mark, I believe you are correct. Thank you. Okay, anything else about that? If not, let's just get right to our update today, our presentation from Pima County. Very exciting, talking about exciting things that are happening. That Pima County has received a $30 million NTIA grant, and here to tell us about it is Michelle. And Michelle, is anybody else online?
Javier was going to be here today, but he got called away in an emergency. So right now it's just me. He might be able to make it.
Okay, and you're going to share, so I'll stop sharing.
Yep. Hi, everybody. For anybody who hasn't seen my face, Michelle Simon, I'm the Deputy Director of Support Services for the Pima County Public Library, and I'm also co-chair for Connect Pima. I will kind of talk a little bit about what Connect Pima is and how that relates to the Middle Mile broadband infrastructure grant that we received. So I'm going to share my screen real quickly, and because it's real hard to see you all, if you could do me a favor and just, if you have a burning question, either throw it in the chat or just hold on to it until I'm done. The presentation won't be that long, and we can just kind of, we can just ask questions and do it that way, okay? Let me get my screen going here. All right, hopefully you all can see the Connect Pima PowerPoint. All right. And so again, my name, Michelle Simon, Deputy Director of Support Services and co-chair for Connect Pima, which is the Pima County's task force for digital infrastructure and inclusion. And Javier Baca, who is Pima County's IT director, he is my co-chair in this effort. Unfortunately, he got called away on an emergency right now, and hopefully he will be able to join us in just a few. Okay, looks like it doesn't want to. There it goes. So Connect Pima, our mission is to ensure that everyone in Pima County has affordable, reliable, high-speed internet and all the tools that they need to successfully participate in our ever-growing virtual society and economy. We use a three-pronged approach to improve digital inclusion by guiding the development of broadband infrastructure, implementing digital literacy initiatives, and increasing access to devices and tools for connectivity throughout Pima County. And we have subcommittees that work on these very things that are listed here. And many of you on this call participate in those subcommittees. So Connect Pima started in August of 2021. And so fast forward to a year and some change, and we have made some significant strides for Pima County, and really taking a comprehensive approach to digital inclusion, making sure that we are identifying the gaps in be it digital literacy services or access to tools and devices, and really focusing on what infrastructure do we need and what kind of policy recommendations are needed to move our county forward. And that's why we were so excited about the federal dollars that are coming our way. Because if you look at some of the information about Pima County, and these are links, and I'll provide the PowerPoint to everybody, but according to a June 2021 report, right, it shows 85% of the households in Pima County are, the wording, what am I trying to say? That they had broadband of some type, but only 12% had no internet access, and 8% indicated that they had no device of any kind. All right. So we have a lot of things that are happening in Pima County, but if you look at a map, so this is why contesting FCC maps is very important, why really doing our research is very important, because if you looked at a map of Pima County, you would assume that the entirety of the county is covered. And that the majority of people are in the served category as defined by the FCC, and that isn't necessarily the case. We have also created a dashboard. So looking at the different household poverty and internet access, as well as our hotspots around town project. And this is information that we can share with all of our partners. This is not something that is proprietary. What am I trying to say? Not available to others. Okay, we want to make sure that everyone who wants to participate with us in Pima County has access to information about the county. All right, so if you're looking at this, it has a tremendous number of layers. We have Pima County library locations and our free access points and community anchor institutions. And this group probably understands what I mean when I'm talking about community anchor institutions, where others are like, what are you talking about? And then we have different reference layers. So you'll see the Board of Supervisors districts.
Excuse me, Michelle, are you sharing something besides
you're not seeing that screen?
Well, I can see your screen, but did it change any?
Okay, so you're not seeing the link. Okay.
No,
So
there's the link is there, but it's not.
That's fine. Then
Yeah.
we'll come back to that. But
Okay.
anyway, there's lots of data. I will put the link to that in the chat as well. Okay. And I will put the link to the report that I referenced in the chat as well, so that y'all can take a look at that. Okay. And so activities that we're doing related to digital inclusion is to ensure that everyone, and definitely including those that are the most disadvantaged, to have access and use to information and communication technologies. And these are the types of things that we are really focused on in Pima County. And that's where, looking at things from the infrastructure perspective, how we decided that we should be looking at the middle mile grant. All right, and we borrowed this picture from digital NDIA, because there is a digital divide issue. And yes, digital equity is the goal, but inclusion is the work. And I really like how they put this, because you will see things all over the place. The Office of Digital Equity, the Office of Digital Inclusion, there's a lot of different things happening. And I want to make sure that we're understanding, mostly in Pima County, and how we're handling things, that we're looking at all the different aspects. Okay, so every person should be able to engage in our society and in our economy using the format that they need, having high-speed internet, and not struggling. And Pima County not only has socioeconomic issues, but we also have geographic issues. So we have mountain ranges that are in the way. We have a very large county that needs to be covered, as well as needing to partner with tribal nations in order to make sure that everyone in the county has what they need. So Pima County, we received a $30.3 million award from the federal government, part of the Internet for All Broadband Infrastructure Act monies. And the project itself is $43.2 million to create an open access 134-mile fiber ring around the county. Of that $43 million, the county and the various municipalities will match approximately $13 million of that through in-kind and cash match donations to the project. At this moment, I have to say thank you very, very, very much to community broadband advocates. Karen, John, and Peter were instrumental in making sure that we had an application that was robust and had the right subject matter experts on board to make sure that we could answer all of the questions or have a design that was viable for this project. We definitely could not have won this award without them. Okay. Part of what we have to do, so project timeline and requirements, the performance period begins July 1 of 2023, and it is a 5-year project. Part of this grant award is the requirements that we have to meet related to the National Environmental Policy Act and the National Historic Preservation Act. Literally, a shovel cannot move one piece of dirt until we meet all of the requirements of those two acts as part of this grant. That will take at least a year, if not more. Okay. And then we will be issuing requests for proposals for subject matter experts regarding people who really know how to handle NEPA and the construction and or management of the fiber ring. Okay, so those are things that will be coming from Pima County in the future here. This picture, I will also, if you want, I can send an email that gives you kind of a good idea, but this is kind of a laid out map of where the fiber ring would go. Please know that this right here, this area right here is going to be adjusted just a bit because there is private land that keeps Snyder Road from connecting between Sabino Canyon and Soldier Trail Road. So it's probably going to go down this way just a little bit. Okay. Everywhere that we have a fiber ring, this provides 25 miles, both inside and outside of this ring. So pick a point and a 25-mile radius around that point will provide access around that ring to internet service providers. The hope is by having an open access ring that is owned by the county, it will keep costs low. It will eliminate some of the barriers to the market for some of our smaller providers who have been trying real hard to come into Pima County, but don't have the money to build that kind of infrastructure. Okay. It will also allow providers to swap fiber. Hey, we have fiber over here, but you have it over here now. Can we swap in order to facilitate that final mile projects, the fiber to the home. These are really the grant itself and the other grants. So the BEAD money, the almost $1 billion, right? These are once in a lifetime opportunities to improve connectivity, but making sure that everyone is included. And these are just a couple of things that, our county administrator and Supervisor Scott had to say about, what's important for them related to digital equity and inclusion. And so with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and put some things in the chat. And does anybody have specific questions? So I see, was there a distinction in the report between broadband of some type and high-speed reliable broadband. The NTIA grant requires connectivity of 100 megabits download and 20 megabits upload. Doesn't matter that the FCC considers 25.3 as served for the purposes of the grant. You are underserved if you are between that 25.3 and 120 range. And if you are below 25.3, you are considered unserved. And that is for the purposes of the grant.
Is
Heather?
the two separate grants, obviously, the $30 million that Pima got separate from the nearly $1 billion that Arizona got
Yeah.
specifically for this fiber, is a part of that 30 million in any way, shape, or form reserved for education, outreach, digital health, navigation, training, or is it 100% cost of construction and hardware and
That
fiber?
is 100% the cost of construction, administration, and management of that 134-mile fiber ring.
Got it.
Yeah, Michelle Mark Goldstein, as the primary author of 3 grants in the Middle Mile program, 2 of which were awarded out of the 35. Congratulations. I'd also note that your matching percentage of the 43 million seems to be at the 30% minimum required by the program, and the average for the awardees was more like almost 48%. So there were significant point gradations between a 30, a 40, and a 50% match, and they did seem to go to the high end. So my point is that you got your grant approved with only a 30% match does indicate it had other strengths that enabled it to rise to the top. So I'm not sure if any of the other grants at 30%, even made it through the process. I'd have to look at them one by one, but the average was almost 48%. So kudos on that.
Thank you. Thank you. I will say that they were saying today in the orientation webinar that there were 260 applications. Okay.
Right, and 35 awarded of those.
Mhm.
Yes.
So this is a big deal for Pima County and for Arizona. We are trying to create a model that is truly a best practice, right? By creating a strategic plan, by really engaging with what the state is doing for the digital equity plan, really identifying those best practices that are used by counties nationwide. This project will help to facilitate a lot of things that we need for Pima County. And we are extremely excited about this. It is going to change Pima County for sure.
So, Michelle, I just want to say you have done an incredible job. You really do need to be congratulated for you and all the folks who have participated. And I've said this before, and you just sort of said the same thing. The Pima County is a great model of not only talking about the connectivity, but digital inclusion. And I think that's because a lot of communities have focused on the connectivity side and not the digital inclusion side. So I want to congratulate you on all of this, and particularly this grant.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions, comments for Michelle?
John LeBrad. Actually, this question isn't for Michelle, but since she was talking, it triggered the question. That is, last week, I think it was in another meeting another meeting, or the week before, Christopher from Tucson was here, and Michelle is here today, and there's been talk of a state middle mile kind of fiber network, and I'm just wondering how the design and internetworking, if any, between those different networks is being handled, and where would that information be available if it is being done?
So Chris Mazzarella is from the city of Tucson. He is the IT director, CIO for the city of Tucson. And they are looking at how to do things specifically for the city. Okay. And then Pima County's fiber ring really kind of is to the outskirts of the urban core. So there are ways that we will connect, be it that it is in the co-location offices, or to expand for areas that maybe they don't have the infrastructure there. I think it's going to enhance some of the smart city efforts, things like that you will see. It's the timing. City is right now in their request for information process. And we just received this grant, and it'll take us a good 16, probably 18 months, right, Karen? Just to do the NEPA requirements that are part of this award. So a couple of years, you'll see a lot of things start to gel.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Michelle? Well, again, Michelle, congratulations. This is really very exciting for Arizona and for Pima County.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time to just present information. This is a big deal, but truly the work of the subcommittees related to Connect Pima and everything that they have been doing has been a big deal for a really long time. Some days it feels like we're moving forward very slowly, but the passion of the groups and how they're engaging with people have made all the difference. And I appreciate everyone that is on this call that has participated in the past or currently is participating with Connect Pima. I appreciate all of your efforts.
Okay, anything else for Michelle? All righty. So moving on, a couple of things. Let's see, do we have anybody? Excuse me, Elena, do you want to say anything more about what you're doing with ACP?
No, there's no real updates right now. We're still waiting for the contracts to be signed. I know we are going to be starting our work with the Digital Equity Institute probably in the next few weeks as they get ready to do some of the additional work. A lot of what you might have read in that Benton article about our pilot, a lot of that's going to be expanding that work with the DEI grant. The City of Phoenix grant is really focused more on schools and getting information about ACP out to the school community and the community writ large while it's still available. And, the announcement this morning, the president, they're really pushing for expansion of ACP. So hopefully we'll see something, within the next month or so, 2 months or so, that where they can come to an agreement about the affordability aspect of the internet and how important ACP is. So we're kind of working behind the scenes on, preparing to roll out some of the work. So that's really all I have.
Okay.
Elena, this is Kirk. I got a quick question. Is there any link to the actual press conference itself? Or did we miss it by not seeing it live?
From the president? Yeah, I actually have it. If you just want to hang on, I'll put it in the chat.
Cool. I would love to see that. I want to go. Looking for Sandy, back of Sandeep's head.
He's on the left side.
Guess he didn't speak, huh?
No,
Okay,
but he was about 6 feet away from the president, which was pretty cool.
cool.
Being in that room is huge.
Okay, moving on. So Mawa's not here today and Holly's not here. Where is everybody? Aaron, you have anything else that you need to talk about with the libraries?
No, I don't think so. I know Mala went to the American Library Association conference. She was out of town this weekend for that, so that's where she is.
Okay,
I don't have any additional updates at this time.
okay. And Janet Major has informed me that she has a diabetes coalition that meets same time as this task force. So she's one of the reasons we need to change this meeting. So moving on, Karina, do you want to give us an update? What's happening with Department of Ed?
Yes, so can you hear me first?
Yep.
Just checking. Okay, perfect. So good. We are beginning a second phase or continuing the phase of the final mile. Myla Neaton, as you know, is working on different special construction projects, and we've just received additional $5 million to continue the work. So we are working on putting together the plan for how to utilize that additional funding. So that work continues. Then, as I shared in the last meeting, the Office of Digital Teaching and Learning is partnering with DEMA, the Department of Emergency and Military Affairs in the state, to give all local education agencies that sign up or that opt in to this agreement, they would get free access to vulnerability scanning using the latest technology that is available at the Department of Military Affairs and their expertise and knowledge. So this is a great service that that DEMA is providing to K-12 at no cost. And right now we have already several LEAs or local education agencies, school districts, opting into this agreement, and we will continue to monitor to see how this is benefiting K-12. In addition, we are beginning an effort to up or improve our DRP, disaster recovery plans for K-12. So we started with what we have right now going on is an IT capacity assessment. The IT capacity assessment is looking to provide, to do, it's a survey basically, but it's more of a tool where our K-12 school districts are able to complete a set of questions, and after they complete the questions, that those questions become an assessment of their readiness to respond to any disaster, technology related or security related. How are we ready to really, do we have plans? Have we documented the plans? Are the plans communicated? Are people trained on that response? So we have that assessment that is allowing our school districts to evaluate their readiness and understand where their opportunities areas are and opportunities for improvement are. We have scores already from the people that have completed. So the assessment for DRP maturity level, we call it, goes from 0 to 5, being 0, I don't have a DRP, and 5 being I have the most mature DRP possible. And interesting enough, so far the scores vary from 0.86, about that, the minimum. So imagine a 0.86 score in DRP readiness, to some of them that are at 4.90 something. So rather mature. So it will be interesting to see how our K-12 school districts score in their disaster recovery plan, and how they can start helping each other, and how the state can start providing resources to increase the score and provide equity to that score across all Arizona. We're working on that. And finally, we are also working on student data privacy. We have an initiative that we call the Trusted Apps. We are partnering with a global institution called One EdTech that gives access to this resource that allows school districts to assess whether the online tools or apps or curriculum applications that they are using in the classroom are meeting the standard data privacy requirements. They're FERPA compliant, COPPA compliant, if they are protecting our student data. So our school districts are already applying to be part of this, and we are expanding our capacity and knowledge in student data privacy and resources to protect our student data. So a lot of things going on, Steve, in the state, and I'm very excited to see how this is going to continue to evolve for K-12.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, isn't it?
Okay.
And that's it for me.
Any questions for Karina?
Yeah, I was going to ask a question about the Final Mile project. Is that being integrated with the state bead planning? I've never heard about how that would be interrelated with the state bead planning.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have been working on the Final Mile from long before, and we have been collaborating with Nicole on and ACA Sandeep on data for BEAD. So now that the funding is here, I'm interested in seeing how that will all blend together. We have not yet had those final conversations now that the funding is confirmed, but yeah, we will see how that works out.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so moving on, I did talk to Mylan today because we haven't seen him in a while, and he's one of those people that does have conflicts at the same time, and so hopefully we'll be able to see him now and then. So just wanted to mention that. And same thing with Derek. I spoke to Derek last week, and he's got so many things going on. It's really exciting what's happening with Sun Corridor Network. And so we're trying to work out a deal with Derek so that he can be here at least on occasion to give us an update on what's happening with the Sun Corridor Network. And so with that, anybody have any other announcements? Anything else they want to share? Not hearing any. I think we might be done for today. Mark Burrows, are you back? Okay, guess he's not. Okay, anything else anybody else wants to share? If not, I think we are done for today. If anybody wants to stay online and kibitz a little bit, if not, we're done.